all of attendees see my screen. So great. So let's start. What is UserEngage? UserEngage is an application to marketing automation. So application which track activity of your users on your website and enables you to send the direct message to the specific people, to specific audience in the specific moment. It's a tool to marketing and sales, and it's a tool also which can be used in customer service. Our entire platform let you store all information about activity of your users and your sales team in one place. So it's all in one solution. When you will log in into our application, you will see a list of your users. From technical point of view, what is UserEngage? You might say it's Google Analytics. Google Analytics is most popular analytical system which track activity of your users on your website. And UserEngage does exactly the same. We track activity of your users onto your website, but the difference is that we don't aggregate your data. So Google Analytics gives you such information like today on main websites was 3,000 users and on pricing page went 300 of them. And UserEngage will tell you this information in a way that Mike Corba, John Smith, and another user were on main page, and on pricing page went only John Smith. So each user is tracked separately and each user has his own history. When you will log in into our application, you will see a list of users. This is a demo version of this website, which I have prepared for this specific demo. So when I'm entering UserEngage, I see a list of users. Those users, if those are users who visited my website. If users have left some data about them, so email address or name or phone number, I will see them as a name, surname, email. But if they haven't left any data about them, the system will give them this random name like adjective, objective, and from where he is logging in. I can see when he was first seen, I can see when he was last seen, how many page views he had seen, from which IP address he is logging to my website. Based on IP address, I can check from what country, from what region, or what city he's logging in. I can check his technology like OS version or browser he is using. So if it would be a spreadsheet, each row will be a different user and each column will be a different attribute of specific user. You can filter through all attributes you can see in system. So if you want to see only those users to whom you know their email address, you can check if email contains @ and I will search, and I see that I have 12 such users. But I can narrow this filter, for example, to users to whom I know email address, but they visited greater than 10 page views. So they visited more than page visits. I can search such users, and I see that in this application I have only those 3 users. Each filters can be matched with logic attribute AND or OR. So if I want to see both users to whom I have email and users or users who visited more than 10 websites, I can check filter and I see that 17 users match this specific filters. I can filter through many standard attributes like email, name, phone number, first seen, so date when he was first seen, last seen, how many page views, what is current score, their browser version or OS type. I can filter when I was last when user was last contacted. Someone from my company have contacted this user or last heard from. So when user have lastly sent some information to my company, when he was updated, when he was created, to whom he is assigned, so who is responsible to contact for with that specific user. So I can filter through many attributes. I can create also custom attributes, so attributes assigned to my specific business needs. It can be type of client, it can be some coupon code or some attributes which fit my specific business needs. Because each user is tracked separately, each user have his own profile where you can check his whole history. This is me on this specific website. And as you can see, you see in user profile or information about this user. In user info, you see all attributes about this user. But you can see also history, what have this user performed. So if I enter some specific page, so like this Tory tank dress, this information will be automatically updated in my profile. So I see live what users are doing on my website. If this user have performed some specific activity in terms of e-commerce, it's, for example, adding to cart, so he performs some specific event, I also see such event occurrence in a user profile. What's cool is that you also can filter through these events. You can filter your user database in terms of such emails, such events. So for example, show me all users who have performed add to cart event. Last occurrence was for example, today. So this will show only users who have added to cart something today, and it's of course me. But I can filter through I can check first occurrence of this event, last occurrence, or how many times this event have occurred, so count occurrence. But I can filter also through attributes of this event. So I can check this specific category of such activity of users. So for example, show me all users who have add to cart something in green color or have buy something which was more expensive than $200. So I can segment my specific users in very narrow way. In user profile, I see whole history of users activity, but I see also whole history of communication with this specific user. I see all messages to which was sent to this user via chat. I see all emails which I sent it to him, but I can also check what kind of emails he had opened or which emails he have clicked. So I see whole history of this particular user in one place. I can, like in each CRM system, add some tags to users. I can assign him to some specific list. They can be grouped with using our company's module, and users dynamically goes to some specific segments. Segments are filters which is saved. So they are dynamically loaded group of users. Here I have such segment like active users, And I see when I will click this segment, I see that currently in this application, I have 6 users who fits this specific needs. That last seen was less than 30 days ago, and those are 6 users who fits that specific needs. I can check other segment like Lublin. Those are users who are logging, who have city Lublin. This is the place am I currently. So you can check those users here, and you can create many such segments, and they will be dynamically loaded. Okay, so this is an analytical part of our application, but UserEngage is a communication platform. So through UserEngage, you don't only store the activity of your users or history of your users, you can also based on knowledge you know about those users, you can trigger some communication to them. So the first module is conversation. So conversation is a chat widget through which your customers can contact support or sales team or some customer support team. When user will ask me some question, I got a notification that some user have asked me some question, and I can enter this conversation, and I see here this conversation. I see exactly from which website and when such message was sent. I can, of course, answer him. And this message will be automatically sent to this specific user. A cool feature is, sorry, I have entered wrong conversation. The cool feature is that if user have entered some specific conversation and he is typing something to me, for example, right now I'm typing something, this is automatically seen in this user profile, even I haven't clicked send. The different way, when I'm typing something, or I've sent it, when I'm typing something, customers see that I'm typing something, but they don't see what I am typing. I won't spend a lot of time to talk about our conversation section, but the cool feature is that if user won't see this message in this chat window because he have left our website, this message will be sent to him or via email, and he will be able to enter this conversation via email or answer them via email. So you can assign users to some specific communication. It can be done automatically. So fresh users go to sales team, but our current customer base goes to customer support team. You can create some notes. So this is information which isn't seen to the user, but can be used by your agent's team. You can ask some team member from your company to come to here to chat using nodes like come here, and you create at and you choose your agent, and he will get sorry, I haven't choose this agent myself, and he will get a notification just to went to this chat and talk about this user. So there are a lot of very useful features in our conversation. You can create a default replies, so you don't have to type each answer each time. You can upload file, you can use emoji. So there are a lot of ways to work with our chat. But conversation, so chat application, is not the only way to communicate to users. We are also an email marketing tool where you can create email templates, you can create email messages, which are used in email campaigns. When you are planning to send some email campaign, you can prepare it as a simple campaign, so like newsletter campaign, where you will choose message you want to send, recipients to this message, and you have the step summary. But you can create also campaign for automation, so some trigger communication, like when you don't send it automatically by clicking send and or scheduling to some date, but you can use this email communication triggered based on activity of user. So for example, if he downloads some ebook, you can send this ebook using our email marketing system. And on steps of creating this campaign, you just don't choose to whom this email will be sent. So will be sent. Okay, on next step, you create an email template. You can paste code. If you have some HTML file, you can use your previous messages you've used in some campaign. You can use also your templates or some layouts proposed from our application. No matter what kind of way you choose, you go to this drag and drop editor where you can edit your campaign just for your own needs. So you can use our templates to your email look really, really cool and just edit content of these images. This drag and drop builder is very, very useful. You can, for example, edit it like in Photoshop, so very useful for advanced users. You can just type it like in each application, like in Word or Google Docs. You can use this HTML structure view, so you see what is this HTML based on. Each object you can drag and just drop in another place of application. So it's very useful. Of course, you can add some information to your application. So if you want to add some divider or add some image or add some text, it's very, very useful. Of course, you can edit it based inside code. You just save it like some template message, some template subject, and it's ready to go. So if you created an email message, you can go to summary and just save it as an active campaign. But we are not only an email solution, we are also a push notification solution. We are also a call center where you can schedule some SMS campaigns or phone campaigns. You can also use our mobile solution where you can push some mobile notifications inside your mobile app. We are also a CRM application, but the most powerful module of our application is this Engage section, where you can create whole scenarios of user communication. When you will enter this widget, which is not only the chat widget, but this is also our tracking system, tracking code, you are able to add some additional information to your website. It can be seen on a layer like pop-ups. It can be seen inside your application like HTML blocks. We don't currently have such beautiful editor, drag and drop, for email messages. But if you know a little bit of HTML, it will be very easy for you to edit this information. We have a lot of form templates, which if you want to use and you know just basic HTML, it will be very, very easy for you to customize it for your own needs. Like see here it's subscribe, but you can set done that this pop-up will be some download ebook, etc., etc. So it's very, very useful. But the most powerful module of our application is this engage section and automations. This is the place where you plan to whom and when you will send some and through which channel you will send some specific messages. All marketing automation platforms work looks quite the same. There are some triggers which start actions. There are some conditions which have to be done and actions you want to send. In the simplest example, let's do such automation like if user visit some crucial, from my point of view, website like offer website or pricing website or anything which URL contains. If user visit this specific website, check if I have to this user email. So filter from traffic which enters this website only those users to whom I know email. So maybe I will filter users to whom I don't know email. So email is unknown. And only to those users to whom I don't know email, I will show them this form I've created a second before, like download this ebook to know something and something. So the most simple lead generation automation. So if user enters some specific website, I filter from this traffic only those users to whom I don't know email, and to those users I'm showing them some form. So there is a trigger, there is a condition, and there is an action. But I can create much advanced, much complicated automations. So for example, after showing this form, I can wait, let's say 10 seconds. And after those 10 seconds, I will check if this user have submitted this specific form. And if he had submitted, of course, I'm sending him an email campaign with this ebook I have promised him. Like, thank you for subscription, here's your ebook. I don't have to wait for 10 seconds. Just after submitting this form, I can send him this email. But if user haven't submitted this form, I can trigger him with different channel of communication, like send him a automatic chat message like, hi, I see you're looking at pricing page, or you're looking on our offering page. Maybe you need some help, or I can answer your question, etc., etc. So in one user scenario, you can use forms, emails, chat messages, but also SMS, also push notifications, also HTML blocks, so dynamically loaded content of your website. So there is very, very powerful user scenarios you can use. You can also create whole drip campaigns. So for example, to those users to whom you've sent this ebook, after sending it, wait, for example, 7 days. After those 7 days, check if this user have performed some specific action. He had bought something or not, or he done what you want him to do. If he haven't done this, you can send him another email campaign not the same like automatic. You've sent it with this ebook, but more personal from some specific SMTP. So, from example, from your Gmail, because in our email section you can choose from which SMTP, with which SMTP server you will send this message. Like, hi, I see you've downloaded our ebook last week. What do you think about it? I saw you haven't performed you haven't bought our solution. Maybe we can talk. What's the reason? Let's schedule a talk, etc., etc. And if user have clicked in this email, you can create an activity for your sales team to check this user and talk with him or add him to some call center campaign to just to phone him that he is interested in contacting him because he is a potential client. There are a lot of actions, but there are also a lot of triggers. Not only visiting some specific page can start some automation. It can be incoming message on chat. It can be some performing or some specific event. Very popular automation for e-commerce is like if user adds something to cart, wait, for example, 2 hours, then check if after 2 hours he have visited confirmation payment confirmation, so if he had paid, and if he haven't visited this specific page, send him a message like, hey, I see you haven't finished your order, you can do it right here. There are really a lot of automations. We've have prepared some tutorials to show you what you can specifically achieve with our applications. There are automation in terms of lead generation, but there are some automation in terms of increasing retention. So there are a lot of automations. In terms of this some specific scenario, to each such issue we record a video where we show how you can set up it in your application. There is also a written description and also such to-do list which you can check to create such automations. There is a written description, but you can also ask application, show me how to do it, and this tutorial mode will load on, and we just say you where you have to click to perform such actions. So if you want to create an email, you have to create a template. Click here to create a new. After that, you have to name this application. Then you have to choose some creator. Then you have to click save, etc., etc., etc. So it is very useful. We just take you by hand and show you how you can do it. We are not only those call center, mobile push notification, or email solution. We are also a CRM where you can create your sales pipeline. This is the place where salespeople is working. You create some deals. To each deal, you can assign some specific activities that you have to call or meet with this specific guy, and you turn this deal onto next stage on pipeline. And most are of salespeople enter this view where they see the list of their activities, and you see with what customers you have to do and to which agent this task is assigned to. Okay, we are also an analytical section. We also will provide a new future knowledge base to our to our customers, where they can create whole knowledge base for their customers. But right now, I think I will end all demo version and go to some Q&As. I see that Samantha have asked some questions. Just confirming that was under emails create campaigns, the drag and drop editor. Yes, Samantha, if you want to enter drag and drop editor, you have to create, go to emails, campaigns, then create a new one, campaign, and then you choose which this campaign, and right now you have to choose layout or choose template or choose your previous messages just to edit this campaign. So just to enter this drag and drop editor. So I think I've answered these questions. If you have any question, I will be happy to answer them right now. I see that there is no other questions. If there is, so at the end of our webinar, I will just say 2 words about pricing issues and things you can order in our application. So our pricing model is based on 2 verticals. One is that what features of our application you want to use. If you want to use only CRM, chat, email messages, you can choose them because maybe you don't need to use API, analytics, account section, or call center. This is a one vertical, which features of application you are using. But the second one is the number of contacts. So contacts are identified users in your application. Uh, how many users you store in your application. If you can start with very low number of contacts, so for example 250 users, but and our application is pretty cheap, but when you are growing your user database, our pricing also grows. You can count on some discounts if you want to choose 3-month subscription and pay forward for 3 months or for 6 months or for 1 year. You will add this 20, 10, or 5% discounts. We have another question. How can you run us through creating the notifications when tasks are created and assigned to agents? Okay, no problem. I will create such automation in a second. Just to ending this issue with this pricing issue, there is one feature that doesn't matter how many contacts you have in your database. It's strict priced. It's assistance. This is a personal assistance of a marketing automation specialist, which can help you to set up your automations. This is 10 hours per month for personal assistance from some marketing automation specialist like me or my friend. It costs $500, and it looks like mostly 2 times a week or 1 time a week we schedule individual Skype call. You invite me to your application, and I'm setting up some specific automations, just like can Dice ask me right now to create such notification for an agent? Okay, so I know, let me enter this automation. We can create some activities for specific agents when user have performed something on your website, in your application, or if he fits specific needs. For example, if he have purchased something or created an account, you can schedule you can create an activity for your user if user have performed some specific event. For example, click button register. You can create a specific activity. You choose the type of activity, if it will be a meeting, lunch, or email, or phone call. This can be created as for your specific needs in application settings. But if user have click button, you will invite him for a lunch. Yes, you name it, lunch proposition. You choose date and time in minutes when it will should be done. For example, after he has performed, let's maybe not. Let's call him like meeting in 30 minutes till moment that he have performed, and you have to assign it to some specific agent, like for example, I will assign it to me. This some description is required. So this automation will create an activity, but question is how I can notify the agent that he have that he have some activity in user profile. I can do it in this automation. So after this event, I will create an activity for user, and I will notify him through an email, like send him an email like, "Hi, Mike, this user," here I will put his email, have performed click button activity, click button event. So you have to ask him for a lunch. So you have to ask him for lunch. Visit activity list. Visit activity list. And I can send event message to maybe here. That maybe I will close this message. I can send a link to this CRM activity. So if user will visit do this, I will send such email to this specific agent. So I will send it to Michał Korba, it's me. So this can be done this way. So agent will get notification by email. I can send the same information to push mobile notification, send a mobile notification to an agent. He have to just have our mobile application from UserEngage app installed, and he will get this notification. Of course, I can create it in one flow, but I don't have to do it in one flow. I can in different automation, create such automation. I like if this activity is done. Where are activity? Oh, here. When this activity is created, so when some activity, for example, lunch is created, and this is created for Michał Korba, I can send him an email. You have new activity. Yes, so I can, you have new, hi, you have new activity. Check. So I can notify him in such way. I hope I can this. I've answered your question. Also, can you tell us how to customize the email address from which conversation notification email appears with your appear to come from replace a domain? Okay, so I will read this question one more time. Also, can you tell us how to customize the email address from which conversation notification email appears to come from UserEngage domain with our own? Currently, there is no possibility to customize this email address from which notification of conversation come, because as I understand, this means such conversations in terms of this chat widget. This is there are in different chat messages solution, you won't be also able to customize this email, because each thread is a different email address. So it when I will this is me, UserEngage, I'm leaving this thread, so I won't be able to see such communication. Right now, I will send it to myself, answer, yes. This message can't be sent through website because I have left this website. This message will be redirected to my email address, and this will be sent it from UserEngage in automatic way, and this will be sent it. I will just enter my my email address in our screen. You can't customize it because this email address from which you are getting this message, so this user is getting this message, will be unique email address. So user, when he will answer to this question, this message will get here. So you will see the answer is getting to this thread in conversation. This is the reason you can't customize your email address. But of course, you can add several SMTPs, and there you can customize very easily your email address you are sending from your messages. I hope I've answered these questions. I'm marked and answered. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them right now. If you don't have any questions, I suggest you can create account in our application just by creating a free trial. Then the next step is to implement this custom script on your website. It can be done through Google Tag Manager, or if you're using some WordPress or Magento or PrestaShop using our add-ons to the system. And then you are able to start to automate your marketing campaigns. Thank you so much for appearing this webinar. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. My email address is mihal at userengage.com. You can always schedule a Skype with me on Calendly/Mihal Karba. So thank you for attending today's webinar. Hope it was useful for you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.